What's up, everyone? Welcome to Aftershock. I'm Aaron, and today we have last night's WWE SummerSlam 2016. The results and my review. Guys, I don't know. Overall, I don't know what to say about this show. Just kind of left me feeling a little uneasy. I don't know how else I can say it. On the kickoff, we had the first match was the Vaudevillains, the Ascension, and Breezango versus the Hot Bros, the Usos, and American Alpha in a 12-man tag team match. It was okay. Basically what we saw on SmackDown, basically the same thing. The Ascension actually looked good for a change. The Usos end up stealing the win after American Alpha hit Grand Amplitude. One of the Usos stole the tag, splashed him, and stole the win, and it looks like there's going to be some sort of conflict there. If it was up to me, bringing in a new tag team championships for SmackDown, this would be the feud. I would turn the Usos heel in a second. Turn the Usos heel, have them feud with American Alpha, have them have some pretty decent matches, because I know they can. There's your first feud for the new SmackDown Live tag team titles. Perfect. Baron Corbin ends up coming out on the kickoff, interrupting the panel. Says Kalisto begged for the doctors not to release him for their match, and yada yada yada. So their match will not be happening tonight. He had to make an appearance though. Got to get everybody on the show, as much people as you can. I guess that's WWE's mentality. Next match was the Dudleys, Bubba Ray and Devon versus Neville and Sami Zayn. Honestly, it was a pretty lackluster match, even for a kickoff match. Bubba Ray accidentally clotheslined Devon. Neville and Zayn end up getting the win after a haluva kick and the Red Arrow. About a 4-star out of 10, nothing. Absolutely nothing special. Next and last match for the kickoff was Sheamus versus Cesaro. The first match in the best of 7 series. It was actually a decent match. It wasn't the best match. Excuse me. They actually had the set was a little bit different this SummerSlam. They had the LED ring posts, the big thick ones, and Cesaro actually got on top of one of those and jumped off and springboarded into a I think a crossbody. That was pretty cool. There was a Cole Brogue kick reversal into the sharpshooter. I'm not a big Cesaro fan, but that's one thing about him that's always appealed to me, like all of his technical reversals like that I've seen him do. Very crisp. Sheamus ends up winning though via a Brogue kick after Cesaro's shoulder hits the post, pokes him in the eye or whatever, throws him into the post, comes back, hits the Brogue kick for the win. I like Sheamus winning, obvious choice to win this first match. Now on to the main show, the main card. The first match was Enzo Amore and Big Cass versus Jericho, Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens. Pre-match, Enzo and Cass get on the mic, come out and reference the Empire State of Mind song. They reference Biggie Smalls. Big Cass sings the Frank Sinatra New York song. Pretty good. Obviously, you're going to see that from Enzo and Cass. Decent match. Good main show opener for me. Owens broke up the pin after Enzo hit the flying DDT. But Jericho ends up winning via actually a pop-up codebreaker. Kind of a fusion of both their finishers. Kevin Owens pops him up, and behind him, Chris Jericho catches him with the codebreaker. They almost botched it, but it didn't look too bad. They ended up getting it off. They almost fucked up, though. Not gonna lie. There was a backstage segment involving Jon Stewart, Stephanie McMahon, Mick Foley, Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan, and The New Day. Kind of funny. Not so funny, but just trying to get Jon Stewart involved, get the storyline going. Next match was for the Women's Championship, Charlotte versus Sasha Banks. A great match, better than the first, in my opinion. The natural selection, reversal into the Banks statement was cool to see. The big Splash Mountain, the Super Splash Mountain Frankensteiner reversal was wicked. Like, you know Sasha had to have been just frightened, scared. That is pretty high up, I'm not going to lie. Charlotte broke the bank statement twice, but ends up winning and getting her title back via a bank statement reversal roll-up pin. New 2x women's champion Charlotte. But we pretty much knew this was going to happen because I've been able to tell that Sasha Banks has looked a little hurt in the ring. I'm not going to lie, she has. And in fact, she is in some pain. She is taking a little bit of time off, I think. So therefore, that's the reason in her dropping the belt back to Charlotte. About a 6 of 10 match, a pretty good match, pretty solid match. Backstage, the club reunite with AJ Styles, and Finn Balor ends up walking out of a door into the hallway. They put up the too sweet. Finn ends up leaving them hanging. I hated it. I mean, maybe they're working towards something. Maybe. One can only hope. Next match was The Miz versus Apollo Crews for the Intercontinental Championship. Pretty lackluster match, that's all I got to say. Maurice got involved, distracting Apollo Crews. The Miz retains, hitting the skull-crushing finale. It was a SmackDown match. Next match was probably the show stealer for most people. AJ Styles versus John Cena. The fans chant, John Cena sucks! John Cena sucks! That is music that's hilarious. I absolutely hated that John Cena kicked out of the early Styles Clash. Yeah, I mean, it was an early Styles Clash, but if you're going to kick out of the Styles Clash, don't fucking go for it that early. That's just me being picky, maybe. I mean, we've seen too many reversals nowadays we see getting kicked out of. It's killing moves. Honestly, for me, it's killing moves. The Styles Clash is supposed to be one of those devastating, done, it's over moves, you know. But it is John Cena. Cena hit a cool cutter move, and he actually, like, he was holding him like this, like the World's Strongest Slam position. He threw him up and gave him the cutter. That was pretty cool. And he actually hit the what do you call it? The sunset bomb. He actually hit that sunset flip and didn't botch it this time. So yeah, hell yeah, good job, John. The submission reversals and trades were really cool. Oh, I'm a big fan of that technical style, so I always like to see some of that. Styles kicked out of a super AA again. Come on. I mean, I'm glad he did, but come on. Psychology-wise, like, come on. That's just me. That's just the type of fan I am. Don't know about you guys. Styles ends up reversing an AA into the Styles Clash and then wins with a phenomenal forearm. Hell yes, somebody finally gets 2 pay-per-view wins in a row over John Cena, and what better guy to do it? It was an easy 7 of 10 probably. It was a really good match. I didn't like that AJ won with the phenomenal forearm. I don't know why they're trying to push that move as his finisher. Have no clue why. His finisher is the Styles Clash and the calf killer, the calf crusher. I mean, that is one of his signature moves. Don't get me wrong. Don't like him winning with it because at the end of the day, it's just an elbow. Next match was the New Day versus the Club for the Tag Team Championships. Pre-match, Jon Stewart comes out and says he's replacing Big E. He rips his jacket off. He's wearing the Booty-O shirt. He's got his unicorn horn on. He starts to chant the music, the Big E thing, you know. Match ends up being a typical tag team match. Nothing special to me. About a 6 of 10. Xavier Woods hit a cool rope walk and diving elbow. That was pretty cool. Stewart ends up getting involved. The club grab him and are pulling him towards the ring post. But before they could get him there, just before, Big E comes out, cleans house, drinks his labeled jar that Dr. Anderson and Gallows have been carrying around, and they just all dance, and I guess it's cool to see Big E back. Next match was for the WWE World Title. I don't understand. This card is so switched around for me. But anyways, Dolph Ziggler versus Dean Ambrose for the WWE World Title. It was a good match, honestly. Honestly, it wasn't a bad match, but the crowd is what made it seem. The crowd just didn't do anything. It seems like we're seeing a tad different Ziggler. I hope. I wish to God he would have won. Ambrose kicked out of the zigzag and broke multiple sleeper holds. We've seen a pretty good amount of reversals. But in the end, after a battle on the top rope, they both drop down to their feet first. Dean hits Dirty Deeds to retain the world title. Like I said, I wish Dolph Ziggler would have won, because honestly, I hate that I'm saying this because I like Dean, I really do. But he's just not the WWE World Champion. He's not to me. He comes out, I don't get that big, the guy, the world champion feel. I don't get that when he comes out. It's just me. Next match, Naomi, Becky Lynch, and Carmella versus Natalya, Alexa Bliss, and Eva Marie. During Eva's entrance, the voice says she's experiencing anxiety for from the fans being rough on her or whatever. So she's not going to be here. Now it looks like they are turning this suspension into a work, but it does play right along in with the storyline. If there was a time for Eva to get suspended, it's now. Honestly. Replacing Eva, though, was a returning Nikki Bella. I've never been very high on the Bellas, but I'm glad to see Nikki Bella back. Honest to God. Not going to lie. It was an okay match. Naomi looked amazing. Naomi just looked awesome. Nikki still looked good. The heel team ends up winning via a TKO by Nikki, so I guess she's going to kind of switch her style up a little bit. She's not using the rack attack. I guess she's going to be finishing people off with the TKO now. Next match was to crown the first ever Universal Champion, Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. The title looks stupid. No originality. They all look the same now. I don't understand. It looks like a toy title. It really does. Great match. But like I said in that AJ Styles Cena match, who the fuck kicks out of the pedigree? Come on. Quit pushing these guys so quick. Quit putting so much behind them. You can push them, but quit putting so much behind them. Kicking out of the pedigree. Finn Balor kicking out of the pedigree. Didn't like that at all. Rollins kicked out of the 1916. Finn ends up winning via 2 corner drop kicks and a coup de grace. And he ends up being the first Universal Champion. The match was really good. About a 7.5. It was a really good match, honestly. I just didn't like the psychology behind it, if you get my drift. Next match was Roman Reigns versus Rusev for the U.S. title. Rusev attacked Reigns before the bell and ends up going to the outside. No contest. Rusev gets chair shots and a spear and is deemed unfit to compete. So there goes that match. Next match and the main event of the evening, which it shouldn't have been in my opinion, was Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. One of the most boring matches I've seen. Brock is just stale to me. Not really stale. I guess you could say stale, but he's just boring. It's just suplexes and an F5. Maybe in a submission here and there. But that's it. That's his match. 2 tables broke. One from an RKO. Actually, thinking back, I'm not even sure if that table broke or not, but I know he gave him an RKO on top of the table. Lesnar kicked out of 2 RKOs, counting that one. Orton kicked out of an F5. See, guys, come on. That's the F5. That's a devastating move. That's supposed to be killer. Lesnar ends up getting on top of him, just swinging some punches and elbows. He opens him up really bad. Orton ends up pouring the blood. stopping the match. That's just awful for me. Awful. Awful way to leave the crowd. Awful way to leave the show. Just me talking. Post-match, Lesnar continues the attack, and Shane comes out, and he F5 Shane. Honest to God, guys, this SummerSlam was a bummer. It just seems like, I don't know, that ending was just total bullshit for me. We should have seen a great match by those two, or if not that, Styles and Cena maybe should have been the main event, maybe, or the Universal title match. It was just a sucky pay-per-view. It's just like WWE takes 2 steps forward and 3 back. I don't get it. I guess we'll see you guys next time. If you enjoy the reviews, super kick that like button, super kick that subscribe button, share it to your Facebook, Twitter, anything else, so maybe another wrestling fan can see. I guess we're going to get on out of here, you guys. I'm so fucking bummed from that pay-per-view, but oh well. What can you do? Peace out.